They are two leaders united by a common goal, tackling irregular migration to Europe. On a visit to Rome, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer was keen to learn from his Italian counterpart after she oversaw what he hails as the dramatic reduction in the number of migrants reaching Italy's shores by boat.
You've made remarkable progress. Irregular arrivals to Italy by sea are down 60% since 2022.
Following talks, the two sides say they'll now boost cross-border cooperation to crack down on people smuggling gangs that are facilitating illegal journeys on the English Channel. Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni says Starmer is particularly interested in her government's migrant deal with Albania, an agreement that will see Italy open 2 migrant processing centres in the Balkan nation, where the claims of 30,000 migrants will be handled each year. Critics say the plans will violate human rights, allegations Meloni fiercely denies.
I've explained extensively that the migrant centres located in Albania are Italian and European jurisdiction. Therefore, either you believe that European jurisdiction violates the human rights of migrants, or unfortunately, this accusation does not have any basis.
Starmer is also under fire over his interest in the Albania agreement, with some saying the deal echoes the previous UK government's Rwanda plan that was abandoned in July. The British Prime Minister insists Italy's scheme is different. The mere fact that Starmer met Meloni, who heads the far-right Brothers of Italy party, has ruffled feathers within the Labour leader's own ranks. Speaking to The Guardian, Labour MP Kim Johnson said it was disturbing to see Starmer seeking to learn lessons from a neo-fascist government.
Indeed, picking up on Yinka's final remark there, they do make an odd couple, and of course we'll watch for developments in their possible joint policy on the migrant issue. Watch this space. Let's bring in for more analysis on this story Lorenzo Castellani, Professor in the History of Institutions, joining us from Rome. Good evening, sir. On the face of it, as I was just saying, Starmer and Meloni have very little in common except this migrant issue.
Yes, true. But what we can say is that what we are seeing now in Europe is that, the migrant issue is becoming a cross-party issue. And for many aspects, it seems to be depoliticized from previous years where there were, very harsh division among parties everywhere. Now it is considered an emergency by, governments of any color. And there are, common solutions that are emerging. One is the Italian model. So the idea, let's say, to contract out for many aspects the receive of asylum seekers, as it happens with the agreement with Albania. Others are working more on their borders, as the Germans or the French. But it became very clear that in order to govern migration, it is necessary to do something more compared to the past, because it's a very sensitive political and social issue, and not only an international one. And so on this point, I think, the Italian government is performing well, at least in terms of communication and in managing the political deal, both at European level and at domestic level.
Indeed, having a centre-left British Prime Minister standing up there and seemingly having so much in common with a far-right Italian Prime Minister clearly is making some people think, how is this ever happening? But as you point out quite rightly, this story of the migrant crisis, call it what you will, is something that is cutting across all political divides. So it's been recognised across the board as a big problem. Italy's Albania plan, as compared to the previous UK plan of sending migrants to Rwanda. How do you assess the differences between those two? Clearly, Labour has scrapped Rwanda, but of course, Italy has this very successful, it seems, idea of sending the migrants to Albania, and then the assessment is done there.
Yes, the two agreements were very similar. The model is the same. Italy has a privileged relationship with Albania for historical reasons, and so it is a reliable partner for Italy. And Meloni as well has a very good relationship with Edi Rama. So the idea is that the asylum seekers are hosted by hubs in Albania, waiting for the response from Italian jurisdiction and European one on their rights to get the asylum or not, and eventually being repatriated if it's not the case. So this is the model. I think that there are other countries that are thinking about such a solution. But what is difficult to achieve is to have a partner, non-EU partner, that is available to work together with European nations on this issue. So from this point of view, Albania is quite a special case. It wouldn't be so easy for example, the British government to find other partners, but it became very clear that you need agreement with non-EU or non-European countries if you want to govern immigration, avoiding, many deaths in the seas, migration crisis, public order, and social disease. So this is, of course, necessary, and it's not a matter of politics, but I think that at this stage it's a matter of relationship among governments. So it's not about left and right, but it's bilateral, multilateral relationship among governments.
We will see how it develops. Lorenzo, thank you for joining us. Lorenzo Castellani there, joining us
Thank you.
from Rome.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. Very welcome. Time now to look at